critical races happening across the country, including a number of statewide races in Virginia. One of the hotly contested races is the Attorney General's race, pitting Jay Jones against Jason Miyares. This, of course, is a very tight race and has only gotten tighter as a result of some text messages that were released. Republicans are running commercials left and right. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of Democrats are trying to run away from Jay Jones, but the others who are standing with him, like Congressman Bobby Scott, Senator Louise Lucas, House Speaker Don Scott. Joining us right now is Jay Jones. Jay, glad to have you back on the show. Last time you were here, we had some breaking news, so unfortunately our interview got cut short. I have to ask you, those texts completely upended this race, and you're being attacked left and right. You've apologized for that. Just take us through how you've had to battle this over the last 3 weeks. You had a lead, like the other Democrats did, according to polls, that's evaporated. Just give us a sense of your thoughts on where this race is right now as a result of this controversy.
Well, look, Roland, it's great to be back with you, but let me first just say this campaign has always been bigger than me. It's about whether or not we're going to protect Virginians or let Donald Trump and large corporations continue to raise prices and control our Commonwealth. And from the start of this campaign, we've been talking about the rising cost of living here in this Commonwealth and federal overreach that the Trump administration continues to do, which is a driving factor for voters. And so these issues are a direct result of Jason Miyares failing to stand up to Donald Trump's extremism. And we're going to use these next 7 days to make sure voters know that. This race was always going to be close. He is an incumbent. He's well-funded. The MAGA ecosystem is behind him. But we have been fighting every single day to make sure that Virginians know the choice in front of them, that the stakes could not be clearer. And that's what you're seeing in these final days. People are checking in, and they know that they don't want Donald Trump running their lives anymore and putting us in a bad spot. And as Attorney General, I can't wait to see Donald Trump in court because I'm ready to hold him accountable.
There is going to be a huge rally in Virginia featuring former President Barack Obama. Are you speaking at that rally? Are you going to be there?
Look, I'm excited that the president is coming, and we are all hands on deck here in Virginia. That's why everybody is coming down to make sure that they know that we have an election. You've had governors here. You've had senators here. I'm excited to welcome President Obama to Virginia because he knows the stakes. And like I just said, they couldn't be higher, and they couldn't be more clear, and the choices are very stark. And so we have an opportunity not only to chart a new course here in Virginia, but to elect the first black attorney general in the 406-year history of this Commonwealth.
You have several things going on. Obviously, you got critical races happening around the country, lots of television commercials, lots of radio commercials, lots of digital ads. But the reality is votes are won with boots on the ground. What does your ground game look like? How many folks do you have out there? What are the critical places that you need to turn out in big numbers, namely the place where you're actually from? How important is that? Because one of the things that I keep saying repeatedly for African Americans, and that is where we have significant votes, we've got to be hitting a minimum of 70% turnout so we are maximizing our vote.
Well, look, our coordinated campaign here in this Commonwealth is the most robust and largest that we've ever seen, supporting candidates from top to bottom. And everybody knows that we have invested millions and millions of dollars to make sure that our turnout program is the best that we've ever seen here in Virginia. And so I'm excited to see this in practice, right? We have had early vote going on since the middle of September, and it ends on Saturday, November 1st. And then we've got Election Day next Tuesday. So this is going to be a critical push for us and a huge piece of the puzzle. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. Very proud of that fact. My sons are now fifth-generation Norfolkians, and so we want to do well here. We want to do well everywhere. I think what is special about this campaign is that we have not just stuck to places that have traditionally been Democratic strongholds, but we've been able to go into the areas that are more pink and more red and try to connect with people and say, hey, look, yeah, we might disagree on some stuff, but right now the Trump administration is hurting Virginia. It's hurting every single one of us. Jason Miyares has had more than 50 opportunities to sue this administration to protect our resources, our values, and our ideals, and he can't do that. And so when you think about the federal workers who have been illegally fired earlier this year, you think about the folks who are at home right now not getting paid because of a government shutdown that is the fault of Republicans who control Washington, K-12 funding, law enforcement funding. People are going to lose Medicaid here in Virginia, 350,000 Virginians. The list goes on and on. That does unite us, and that is what continues to push us forward. And I do think that we are going to send a resounding message on Tuesday that we mean business here in Virginia, and Donald Trump will not walk over us anymore.
You know, one of the things that people have to understand that the power of state attorneys general. We actually saw that in Biden-Harris. It was Republican attorney generals that actually sued when it came to the student loan program. Earlier in the show, I talked about the lawsuit coming from Democrat attorney generals when it comes to the SNAP program. You got voting rights is an issue as well. Criminal justice, holding police accountable. There's so many things that people are now recognizing, and I dare say, really, with the Black Lives Matter movement, you're now seeing progressives who understand how important it is for these AG races. Republicans have long dominated them on strong law and order. But now people are seeing how critical a state attorney general is. I'm born and raised in Houston. We're here in Texas. We got one of the stupidest, dumbest, most criminals as an AG, Ken Paxton. And unfortunately, he has used the power of the AG's office to go after Harris County when it comes to voting and so many different things along those lines. So a state attorney general is a hugely important position.
Well, look, this is the battlefield now, right? And the lines have been drawn, and Virginia deserves an attorney general who's going to push back against this excess and chaos. And, you know, again, I mentioned it a second ago, Jason Miyares has had more than 50 opportunities to sue this administration to protect us, and he can't do it because he's too loyal to the president. He's too weak to stand up to the president. There is a reason that Donald Trump has endorsed him on their statewide ticket and nobody else. It's because he knows that Jason Miyares will continue to let him do whatever he wants at the expense of regular Virginians. We deserve a change and we deserve better here in this Commonwealth. And it really is a wide-ranging sort of purview that attorneys general can get involved in. I mean, even today, you've seen AG step up to protect the SNAP benefits for their states. Jason has been nowhere to be found. So people who are struggling really are looking for these attorneys general for leadership. And right now in these challenging times, I know Virginia can do better. I know that people are demanding better, and that's what we will give them because we have been listening to our neighbors, our friends, our family members, our coworkers, folks from all corners of this Commonwealth who are desperate for protection from this excess and from this overreach, and who are going to attack the problems that we have here head on, lowering costs, keeping our communities safe, making sure that we protect our children, and on down the line, as opposed to doing what one person in Washington wants you to do. Again, Jason Miyares continues to let Donald Trump do what he wants. Virginia is ready for something different. And again, I think there's going to be a loud message that's sent next week that we are a place that Donald Trump cannot win. He was not successful in 16, 20, or 24. And as we look at moving ahead, this is another sort of chance for us to send a resounding signal that we are better than what we've seen over these last 9 or 10 months in particular, and that we can be the light in the darkness for folks as we head into 2026.
On that point, some 850,000 Virginians receive SNAP benefits. And as I said earlier, the AGs in Massachusetts, California, Arizona, Minnesota, and others are participating in that lawsuit. You talk about if you win, becoming the first African-American attorney general in Virginia. You've got African-Americans who are attorney generals in Nevada, in Illinois, in Minnesota, in Massachusetts, in several states. And so that is a different state of mind. And again, having someone in that position using the power of that office to sue the federal government really is important.
Well, look, we deserve our fair share. We deserve the money that is supposed to be coming into our state and into our communities. When you think about the missed opportunities that we've had, K-12 funding has been on the chopping block. Funding for law enforcement so that we can keep our communities safe. Things that we hold near and dear have gone unattended to here in Virginia because Jason Miyares is too weak to stand up to Donald Trump. The choice could not be more clear. If you want someone who's going to take orders from Donald Trump, Jason Miyares is your person. But I have laid out this vision for Virginia where we have an attorney general who's going to push back on the excess and the overreach and the chaos, sue to protect our values values and our ideals and the things that we hold near and dear to our hearts, and make sure that we're using the office to be responsive to these problems that we're seeing right now caused by the Trump administration. Our regional economies here in this Commonwealth have been destroyed because of the tariffs that Donald Trump levied, which have been declared illegal. Attorneys general sued to stop those policies and had success. But when Virginia has not participated, we don't get to avail ourselves of those protections. That has been devastating for the state, and we have an opportunity to do better on Tuesday, and I'm really excited about it because I do think that people from Northern Virginia down to Hampton Roads out to Southwest are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and this is our moment to shine, and I am confident that we are going to have success on Tuesday, and as we move into 2026, join those lawsuits and get Virginia back on a better course.
We heard Democrats say that they may very well do redistricting in Virginia. Your thoughts on that? Should they make that move?
Well, look, I think people have been desperate for Democrats to be aggressive, and I think this is some bold leadership by our state leaders in the General Assembly. And I will say that the success of this also hinges on the Attorney General. Today, he issued an opinion basically saying that they couldn't do this, which is patently wrong. And frankly, we know that we can do it. And I'm supportive of the effort that you see Speaker Scott and some others are leading here. And this is really just being responsive to the needs and demands of people in Virginia. And so I am excited about the product of the special session this week, us having success next Tuesday, and then doing it again come January to put this to the voters. Because, again, we want to be aggressive, we want to be responsive, and we want to show people that Virginia means business.
Questions from my panel. Larry, you first.
Coming on this show, and voters have to kind of figure out what we're going to do here really soon in a couple of days. And so what is your pitch to them in terms of what you would do day one to differentiate from your opponent?
Well, look, day one, we get to sign on to the lawsuits that other attorneys general, Democratic attorneys general, have put up already over the course of these last 10 months so that we can avail ourselves of those protections. And that's the easy part, right? I get to sign my name on some amicus briefs. But what we really want to do is we really want to lean in. As we have moved around this Commonwealth, folks have continued to talk about how they are struggling from an economic standpoint. These tariffs have really hurt our regional economies here. People are feeling the squeeze, whether it be at the gas pump, at the grocery store, with their rent or their mortgages. The list goes on. And it's exactly why we put out a plan to lower costs here in Virginia, to root out corporate fraud, waste, and abuse, to hold those bad actors accountable who are jacking up prices unnecessarily, to go after the pharmaceutical industry, to lower costs for Virginians, and to make sure that we hold these corporate landlords accountable who are making it unaffordable for people to live. The Attorney General should be the watchdog for the people. Jason would rather stick to Donald Trump and corporations and let them run the show. We want to make this office about the people and do what it should be doing, which is protecting them every single day. That has been our pitch, and that will continue to be what we talk about as we close this race out over 7 days.
Mustafa, your question.
Yeah, well, Jay, good to see you. I'm curious. What's the balance look like between economic growth? You just mentioned economic growth a second ago, and environmental protections. We know our most vulnerable communities often end up on the not so positive end of the stick. How will you approach that?
Well, look, I'm sitting here tonight in Norfolk, Virginia, my hometown, which is a city that is under threat from climate change every single day. And so we have to protect our environment. And we know that oftentimes the people who are most under siege in that space are folks who look like us. And so I don't think that the ideas of holding people accountable and protecting our environment are mutually exclusive. We want to make sure we're holding bad actors accountable, protecting our environment and protecting our natural resources, while also making sure that we are a place where there's economic prosperity and opportunities for people to make a living for themselves. But I will say right now, Donald Trump and Jason Miyares don't care about that. When you have thousands of workers who were fired by DOGE earlier this year illegally, I will say, and folks who are sitting at home right now not getting paid because of this prolonged government shutdown that lays only at the feet of Republicans who control Washington. So, we've got a lot going on here, but I do think that what we have really been focused on is, one, trying to put money back in people's pockets, two, letting folks know that protect you and to make sure that we have your back, and three, that this office really should be dynamic and working for regular folks across this Commonwealth to meet the challenges that they face every single day and not being dictated and run by those who've got the deepest pockets.
Jesse.
So you mentioned that this is an opportunity for Virginia to have a Black attorney general. And I'm just curious how your identity with that and such a big milestone, if successful, would influence maybe some of the stances that you may have to take when it comes to issues with policing in Virginia.
Well, look, I'm really, excited about the opportunity to serve because my family has been here in Virginia for a long time. I mentioned earlier, my sons are fifth generation Norfolkians. My grandparents and parents were civil rights leaders, people who taught me everything that I know about putting community first. My grandfather was a civil rights attorney. My father served in all three branches of government. My mother was a violent crime prosecutor. And we have heard from people, from corner to corner who want safe communities. And so do I, right? I have two young boys. Charles is 3 and Zachary is 15 months old. And that's exactly why we put out a plan a few months ago to keep our communities safe, a comprehensive public safety plan that can get real results, that's made in conjunction and developed with state and local law enforcement leaders, sheriffs, police officers, Commonwealth attorneys, other invested community groups who care about this. And I think we can achieve these goals while also keeping our community safe, cracking down on violent crime and supporting victims, making sure that we get illegal guns off of our streets. I have a track record of doing that as an assistant attorney general, where we put the largest illegal ghost gun manufacturer out of business, and then keeping our kids safe, right, from the threats of abusers and predators and the folks who want to do them harm, and managing those threats that they're facing online too. And so those 3 key pillars, we're going to put that plan into practice and really meet the challenges that we see here in Virginia, knowing that my job is to enforce the laws and make sure that we keep everybody safe, because that's the most important job of any leader in Virginia, federal, state, local, or anywhere else too.
Last question, Jay. There's somebody sitting here watching this show right now, and they say, you know what? I hear all this stuff. That stuff doesn't matter. I don't think this impacts my life. I don't see how this guy, if he's attorney general, will play a role in the betterment of my life when it comes to my economy, when it comes to my economics, my health, my job, and my education, my neighborhood. What do you say to that person to get them to cast their vote early between now and November 1st? Then, of course, if not, to vote on Election Day.
That everything that is happening in your life runs through the Attorney General's office, whether it be your pocketbook, your family, your community, your children's school, all of it comes down to this office. We have such an incredible purview and the ability to use this office in an affirmative way. For the last 3.5 years, Jason Miyares has used it to serve Donald Trump, and he's used it to serve his friends with deep pockets who think that they run this Commonwealth. This office belongs to you, and my job is to return it to you and be a watchdog for you, lowering your costs, making sure you can get prescription drugs at an affordable price, keeping your community safe, cracking down on the drug dealers and folks who do our children harm. This is what this job is about. It all matters. And if we don't have an attorney general to work for you, your attorney general is going to work for Donald Trump. And that has put Virginia in a bad spot. It has put thousands of Virginians at risk of losing their health care. It's put thousands of Virginians out of work. It's unacceptable, and we deserve better. And I hope to do that as the next Attorney General of Virginia. And so I'd ask for everybody's support between now and Saturday when early voting closes. And if you're going to vote on Election Day, please cast your ballot for the Democratic ticket from top to bottom, because we have plans to make your life better, to make sure that we protect you, and to make sure that we help you out in these really, really challenging times.
All right, Jay Jones, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon.
Josh Cole became a pastor and delegate to serve his community. That's why Josh is fighting to lower costs for families hurting from inflation and make sure we can all afford quality health care. But Sean Steinway has embraced his MAGA backers who support Trump's mass firing of federal workers and the MAGA plan to ban abortion with no exceptions. We deserve better than Sean Steinway.
I'm Josh Cole, candidate for delegate, and I sponsored this ad.
Nicole Cole knows the cornerstone of a successful life starts here. Virginia Public Schools gave Nicole an excellent education. They helped her become a small business owner, family financial planner, mother, and community leader. Now, after 4 years on the Spotsylvania School Board, Nicole is running for delegate to meet the needs of all students. As our delegate, Nicole will fully fund our schools, raise teacher salaries, and help graduating students stay in our communities. Nicole Cole for delegate. For us, for our future.
In the military, I gave orders, and they went a lot further than they do around here. If there's one thing I've learned as a mom and foster parent of more kids than I can count,
investing in their future isn't a choice.
in Richmond, I'll fight for Stafford's fair share for our schools. Smaller class sizes, better teacher pay, and more vocational training.
I'm Stacey Carroll, and I'll fight to get our kids' future in order.
As a pastor, I hear a lot about trips to the doctor, bills piling up, jobs being lost. So as your delegate, I went to work writing laws that protect families, helping parents care for their disabled children, capping insulin costs, lowering prescription prices, and investing in our police and schools. I'm Josh Cole, and as your delegate, I'm working to keep us strong and safe.